show you a combination of techniques, probably not easy at all, maybe even a little complicated. Perhaps it will be interesting to the guys who like to be so deep in technique, and may not be very interesting to those who don't like complexity. But I understand you, because in fact I also like simplicity in work. Simply for a long time I wanted to try these combinations, so I decided to share with you how I do it for the first time. Honestly to say, it's not the first time, because it's the second. First time was yesterday. Yesterday I did this in the salon. It was very cold inside, it was frozen. It took me for 3 hours, but at the end I pushed to some bottom wrong and everything was deleted. So I don't know how it happened, but the point is that the camera was empty, and then I thought that maybe it is better, because yesterday my first attempt seems to have been not very successful, so I'll try today the second time. Now I've had come to know some underwater stones in these combinations, and I hope this time it will be better. And yes, Yandex Translator helps me to speak in English, so if you will not understand anything, that's not my fault, that is Yandex. Let's see what the face features our model has, and what do we see? Deep and asymmetrical hair growth. At the same time, an expanded part of the lower jaw and a slightly sharp extending forward chin. Due to the fact that the central part of the face is slightly flat, and the Adam's apple on her neck, it's unusual, so we need to create a shape that doesn't put emphasis on the lower part of the face. To do this, I'd like to make the silhouette lighter, softer, maybe lift the line a little, but not round it too much, because this can push the lower part of the face even more forward. Also, do not make the silhouette on the back of the head too flat. This will also affect the proportions and will make her features look strong. So let's look to the sections. Here we have two curved lines that goes around the crown area, then two diagonals lines that goes to the point behind the ear. And what's important for me, I pushed two diagonals to the top of the head, but not to the top exactly, little bit below, because I need to hide this panel on the crown. So the idea is to make something like layered pie. We'll build gradation again, then layers, again gradation, and layers, again gradation, and I believe that this will make the silhouette looks a little bit more playful and light. Here on the sides I took diagonal sections. The cutting line is parallel to the section. I want to see my outline little bit more round and soft. That's why I took such like sections and cutting line, and my elevation is about 45 degrees. I need to create triangular silhouette in vertical projection, because I need to build the weight pressing the silhouette to the face. So For this aim, I need to keep constant angle of elevation from my first section to the last. The key to control elevation for me is to memorize the angle of elevation and to check myself with the comb. Sometimes I put my comb to the section and I can see if my angle will be changed, if it will go wrong, little bit higher or lower. So this way I can help myself to control elevation. Doing cross-check is very important for us because in this projection we see the silhouette that we created. So I see that it is triangular and I'm happy with that because I know the way it will work. When I came to the point the head goes round, I changed the technique. Now I take my last hair from gradation and lift it up to layers. That means that my last section on gradation became my guide in layering. Why am I doing this? First of all, I want to reduce the mass, on the sides, and I want to fulfill the shape with an air. So in cross-check we will see how two different techniques, gradation and layering, will be connected with one point. This point will be our last section in gradation. So on our next panel we continue to build around gradation. In order to build around gradation, we need to take the hair that we previously cut on the sides. Next, it's important to find the previous angle of elevation. To do this, we need to carefully look at the cutting line and find the place where the line becomes as dense as possible. If I lift higher, I get a lot of lines at the bottom. If I go lower, I get a lot of lines at the top. So I need to rise to the level where all our hair in our guide create tight and solid line. And in this elevation, continue the direction of the cutting line. I hope it is understandable. So it's important to remember that we build a round shape that goes around the head, and at the same time to keep 45 degrees on every place where we cut hair. For me, the key to build a round shape is the position of the body. So it's important to always to be directly in front of the work area. First of all, I move my body and put it in front of the future cutting line, in front of the future cutting line. Then I comb hair to myself, and only after that I cut. If my body doesn't change the position relative to the head, then there is a great danger of over-directing the hair, and then we will get an extra mass in the center of the nape. Therefore, it's very important all the time to look to the shape of the head, to look to the roots, each time to be in front of the working area and keep the constant elevation and continuing the cutting line, rounding the head. So my next step will be, my last step on this panel will be creating the gap inside the shape. So I need to take my last section, lift it up, and what's important to find the shortest hair at the bottom in my guide. So when I lift hair, I can see the shortest hair in my fingers, and I just cut according to that line. Now what we need, we take our next section and push the hair to our last guide in gradation. So what's important, it will be lower than our previous elevation. It will not be 45 degrees. It will be lower than 45 degrees. Why? Because we made a gap inside the shape. Now, to avoid visible hole in the silhouette, we need to push lower to hide the layers inside. You see? The second section will be elevated as all our previous graduation, 45 degrees. I mean that it's not so necessary to take 45 degrees. it depends on the silhouette. I'm not so much fixed in these degrees. It can be 15, maybe 30, maybe 40. I don't know, really. It depends on how much heavy silhouette should be, or maybe slim or tight. So we all we connect this with visible result that we want to see at the end. But the main story is we have constant degree of elevation in our shape, and only first section that we do after layering, the hair in that section should be pushed lower than all our previous elevation, just to avoid the hole inside the shape. That's why from my second to the last section in this panel, creating graduation, I will keep my previous angle 45 degrees. When I'll be close to my section line, I will again go to layers, to layering. Again, I'll take my last hair on gradation, and this hair in my last section of gradation will become a guide for layering. I will lift it up and as much as possible, and will cut looking to the shortest hair in my fingers. And this way, I'll create a layering pie. It's just a joke. I just call it layering pie because I like this idea of layers. Gradation, then lifting two layers, then hiding with gradation, again lifting with layers, again hiding with gradation. And what about crown area? It is sectioned with two diagonal lines with the corner that goes below the top of the head. And that's very important because that means for me that I can lift crown area higher to create texture, and I know exactly that it will be covered with top area. So at the end, I want to get classic simple silhouette, but due to the gaps inside this silhouette, inside the shape, it will be more mobile, light, textured. It will look interesting in movement, So that's for this combination. So, if your ears are still intact and you are ready to listen further, we can continue. So here on the top we go with horizontal sections and we continue to create graduation. First section we need to push lower than 45 degrees to hide the hole, and the second here on our second section will be as usually 45, and we'll constantly keep the elevation. The only thing is that I want to save hairline outline around the face. That's why I push hair around the face closer to the face, not to make hole in outline. So, and here we come to my last panel. We'll go with the same principle. 2 or 3 sections I will pull to graduation, and then 1 or 2 to layers. Then again to graduation, and again to layers. And I have 2 things to think about. First of all, the doll's head is very thick, and the second, her forehead is a little bit expanded, and she has high hair growth on the sides of her forehead. So I need to have an even distribution of mass on outline around the face. That's why I need to rise the middle of on the fringe, to rise up and to pull down here on the sides. Because the higher we cut, the easier the shape. The higher we cut, the lighter the shape. The lower we cut, the heavier the shape as the result of elevation. So on this principle, I will cut my top area. 2 or 3 sections I will direct to graduation, and 1 or 2 I will lift to layers. And when lifting to layers, I will cut to my shortest hair inside the fingers. When I'm cutting my French panel, when I do layers, I just keep square line, because the shortest hair will be just in the middle of the French, and the longest will be on the sides, on edges of this panel, and that's what I need to distribute an even mass on my outline. My further shape, when I will do graduation and layering, I will try to be close to more rounded line, because I need my silhouette, when hair will fall, to repeat the head shape and to avoid sticking out my edges. Okay, so that's it. And at the end, I will need just to do blow dry, wrap drying, and to do a little bit of pointing, and to soften my outline. Okay guys, that's the end result, and I'm really very happy with the result. Really, that's looking so great, and it moves so beautiful texture. I think it can be used in different hair. On a thin hair we can fulfill the shape with an air and volume. On a thick hair we can reduce mass and to give more texture. Anyway, I want to ask so much sorry for my English. It was really very difficult for me, but anyway, I'm very happy for this experience. The only thing that I want to thank you for so much patience to listen. So, in any way, I'm so happy. And I hope that this not easy, a little bit complicated, but very interesting combination will find its place in your practice too, because I really like it and I will definitely use it with my clients. Thank you very, very much. I wish you all goodness, good evening and good day, and I hope to see you one day in good times. Bye bye.